Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? How you doing, man?
Ted, I wish I could say good, but I'm stuck in Denver. You know, I'm a part of this whole Southwest debacle. Storm, no storm, but it comes down to employees calling out. So that's what I'm about right now, bro. Stuck in a hotel room in Denver, trying to get back to the DMV. Other than that, man, let's get it.
Man, it's been a crazy 48 hours for you, for me, for a lot of our listeners, a lot of people in the country. I mean, the whole Southwest thing. I saw Mitch Tischler was flying back. Took him like 24 hours. They lost his bags. For me, I was actually supposed to fly out on Southwest Christmas morning. And without getting into too many details, Mrs. Tailgate and I ended up spending the night in the hospital, doing okay, but it was a good 36 hours in the hospital. So we didn't really get a chance to have Christmas. And for our listeners that are a little upset, because I got a couple tweets and text messages asking where the show is, we're getting to it. We're doing it right now. We don't want to let you guys down. But just know that Rally's doing this from his hotel room, and we're not exactly in the best situation, so it's not going to be the typical DMV Mess Hall you guys are used to. But just like the team, we're going to do what we can and make sure we get this out for you guys. But I appreciate you jumping on here, man. I know you've had a heck of a time the past couple of days just trying to get home, just trying to get everything situated. And
You know, when you see these television shows, like I think about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I'm dating myself. So for our younger listeners, if you've never seen that movie, just check out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and you'll understand where I'm coming from right now. I've never in my life slept in an airport before because the hotels were all sold out. But the captain found himself feeling like a homeless veteran. I really did, because my hat goes off to the homeless. But I got to tell you, I've never slept in the hotel, the airport baggage claim area before. And there I was, because I couldn't get out. No planes are going out. Nothing's happening. And, you always hear the boards. I think, you remember Die Hard?
Oh, yeah.
When the guy says, change the boards. And it all went to cancel. That's what it was like. And I'm sitting there just at a seat, at a chair, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Get up in the morning, flights delayed, cancel. So nevertheless, I'm not going to give you a pity party. Here I am. I'm here for you and our listeners. So, let's get it, man. Let's do what we got to do.
Amen, man. Amen. Everyone's got a story. Sometimes people care, sometimes people don't. I obviously do. I'm glad to hear that, hopefully, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, you'll be back, and we got you back in time for the Browns game, because we need you this weekend back at FedEx. But before we get to FedEx, how was Santa Clara, man? How was 49ers Stadium? Was it Levi Stadium out there?
Levi Stadium. Yeah, so we stayed downtown San Francisco. I took a small contingency out there. They were kind of last minute, but they said they wanted to go because now, originally, Ted, I think I told you this, the captain was going to break his streak. I had not planned on coming to this game.
No, you didn't tell me that, man. I did not know that.
I had not planned on coming to this game, but I had some people say, hey, I'm looking on your website and I don't see a trip. Are you doing a trip? And I said, no, I really hadn't planned on it. And they said, well, we still want to go. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you guys want to go, I'll go. So had it not been for the 8 people, I would not have gone. And so packed up the bags and went out to California, saw just how a team is supposed to be represented. From the time that we got there, San Fran 49ers, billboards, just fans all over the place. And I know that people talk all kinds of cash trash about the stadium possibly being moved from FedEx
PG to Dumfries,
PG,
Woodbridge,
whatever have you. But the fact of the matter is, Santa Clara is roughly a 45 to 50-minute drive on the 101 to get to the stadium, and 101 highway, that is, for people who don't know. That's the 101 highway connects you from San Francisco to Santa Clara. So it's about a 50-minute drive. That stadium was packed. And in normally when we go to a stadium, I can see burgundy and gold throughout the stadium. We were sprinkled like little salt and pepper. I mean, that's as much as I saw. And what I was getting at was a true winning tradition, and we know this from our RFK days, and back when we were dominant. No one else can get into that stadium other than your fans, and it was a sea of red and white. And as much as I loved it, I hated it, because that's what I want our fan base to come back to. But the atmosphere in the parking lots was just phenomenal. Now, granted, you go to any away game, you're going to have your sector of fans that are just going to cuss you out. They're going to do whatever have you, just because that's what they do.
They've been drinking for a while. They're disrespectful. I get it.
Yeah, my ignored game though is on 10, so I don't even, it just is. I've come to tune it in, so I don't even hear it anymore. I hear it, but I don't hear it.
I don't speak English at away games.
Yeah, and that probably works for you too, man. Until somebody comes up to you and says, he looks Filipino," and they just start talking to you in Filipino. So but so then. I had a lot of tailgates, man, who were very welcoming, and I need to share these pictures. These have just been so hectic to me, to where sharing pictures, trying to talk to people just has not, just not been on the forefront of my mind. So, but I do have pictures. So for our San Fran, I'll send them to you so you can put them on the website so that you can see how they were welcoming me in, and the other fans that were with us. And a big shout out goes to Andrew Chef Jackson, I believe is his last name. He was the only true tailgate that was there representing that I saw. Now, I'm sure that there probably were. So if you were there, please don't bite my head off. But you also understand that it was just a sea of red. And to find this guy was like a needle in a haystack. So shout out to him, because he did a great tailgate out there. And I told him that I would mention him on the show. And so I'm holding up my end of the bargain, because he did a great job. But going back to the fans, they were welcoming. The stadium was off the chain. And this is my third time actually being at Levi Stadium. The first time, as I told you before, 2014, we took an L. Then I came back for Super Bowl 50. Didn't have a dog in the fight. I just wanted to go to the Super Bowl. And so here we are now in 2022, and it's still a great stadium. If I mentioned this before, but no matter what your appetite is, whether you're a meat lover, whether you're a vegan, whatever it is, they have something for everyone, and that's what I love about that. And I'm going to go back, and I've been jumping around, so excuse me, so I'm going to go back to this other statement, and then we can proceed. What I was going to say is, I know people said that if the stadium moved to another place, that they probably would not come. But when you are winning, and winning the way that San Francisco is winning, the fans will follow you. And the stadium was just packed. It was just phenomenal, and that's what I liked to see when it comes down to a fan base supporting their team. No more, no less. Not going to get into anything else, but that's just what it's about. And the fans made that 50-minute trek to Santa Clara to represent their team.
I mean, it helps when your team's winning NFC West championships. It helps when, it's Christmas Eve and the team you're going up against does travel well, but they're 7.5-point underdogs and it's Christmas. I mean, our beat reporters didn't even make the trip. The only beat reporter that went out there was JP Finley, John Kine, like Nikki Javala, Matt Paris, all the regulars, Michael, from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, no one made the trip because no one wanted to go out there because no one wanted to be stuck in your situation, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame our fan base for not going out there and representing, but everything you're talking about just shows you that winning cures all. That stadium is old. I've been there before. I actually ended up having to spend the night in the Santa Clara airport baggage claim because there's a noise ordinance where flights can't leave Santa Clara past, I want to say it was like 10:30. And our flight, the flight attendants got off the plane to go get some food before they got back on. They weren't clear. They didn't get back in time. So then we got stuck. I didn't have a hotel room, spent the night on the floor of the baggage claim, and I actually made it to SFO. And the flight to SFO took off before I got there. So then I had to take an Uber back to Santa Clara from SFO. And, it's just, to me, being out on the left coast just never does well for me or for the Commanders or Washington. But I'm one of those guys that says, hey, if they move to Woodbridge, they move to Dumfries, I'm not going. I'm not going to get season tickets, but I will go to games. I just don't think I can commit to spending money on a personal seat license for several $100,000 for something that's going to be a pain and for a franchise that is not a winner like the 49ers or some of these other newer teams out there. So that's just where I'm coming from. But, hey, to each their own. I canceled Christmas on the misses because I'm saving money for the playoffs.
I heard that.
We'll see.
I heard that, brother, and I said, what? So obviously, I'm tuned in to 106.7 The Fan, and JP said that, and I said, what? I said, man, if I wasn't caught up in my situation, I would have called you a long time ago, brother, because I couldn't believe when I heard that. But I understand, and it takes a great significant other to be able to understand what's going on. So I get you.
Mrs. T gets it. She puts up with a lot. And even though we lost the game this past Saturday, the Giants lost, the Lions lost, the Seahawks lost, everybody that needed to lose lost. The only problem was we couldn't capitalize on everyone else's misfortune. And that, to me, is what frustrated me so much with this game because it was 7-7. We were in this game. We had them, I don't want to say on the ropes, but we were hitting them with the body blows. We just couldn't come over the top. And I feel that we got outcoached. I know you've been listening to The Fan. I know JP's been going back and forth. B. Mitch thinks that we were outcoached. JP thinks that we were out-talented. I think we were outcoached personally. That's why I didn't pick the Commanders to win. That's why I picked the 49ers to get the dub this past week. Because Kyle Shanahan and his game plan, he knows what he's doing. And our game plan, watching the game, and I doubt you've had a chance to go back and rewatch the tape, considering everything that's going on. But for me, the parts of the game that got frustrating, Taylor did well. He was 4 for 8 on third down. He had a heck of a game. Okay, yes, he had 2 turnovers in 3 plays. So I get that part to take him out. But to take him out during the game when they decided to put Carson in, and Rivera's excuse was, well, we didn't want the 49ers defense to just key on Taylor and go after him. So you want to put Wentz in when he's down by 2 scores, thinking he's going to do anything better?
That. Damn, I hadn't heard that.
It just, to me, Rivera has been looking for an excuse for weeks. So those of our listeners that have kept up with the shows know that I've been saying Wentz is going to be in. Wentz is going to play. Because all of Rivera's press conferences, you can tell the underlying tone that coach wants him in. So he will find an excuse to put, Carson back in there. And he got his excuse. But I feel that Rivera basically set Heineke up, man. And I'll explain that comment. It's the 4th and 1 at the goal line, I'm fine going for. A lot of beat reporters, a lot of other fans were saying, no, you put the points up on the road, but you had them on the goal line. You have to hope your defense doesn't let the Niners drive 99 yards for a freaking touchdown. You know, you have to have faith in them to do that. And in the end, it was a 71-yard jet sweep that ended up beating you. But I have no issues with them going forward on 4th and 1 and 4 straight run plays. The issue I have is you put Antonio Gibson in on that 4th and 1. You didn't let B-Rob, your bruiser, stay in there. So to me, that's out-coaching yourself because you're not at putting Antonio in and calling a play-action pass at that point. The Niners have the number 1 rush defense. We talked about it on our preview show. And you're putting your number 2 back in against number 1 rush defense. And yes, B-Rob was in ahead of time on 1st to 3rd down and didn't get in, but he inched forward each time and got us closer and got us closer. And we have seen him move lines and move piles of people.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they do that? I mean, what was your thought in the stands? That was your end zone, right, or no?
Yeah, that was my end zone. And immediately I said, no. It's almost like for people who are visual people, our visual people, Google an 83 Ford Bronco. That's B-Rob. Okay? B-Rob is an 83 Ford Bronco. And then you Google a Lamborghini Countach, an 80s Lamborghini. That's freaking, man, you know what? I'm pissed off. I'm starting to get my feelings all. So I'm when I get pissed off, I lose my words. So I need to bring it back down a little bit. But
I know what you mean.
AG is a Countach and a Lamborghini Countach, and B-Rob is an 83 Bronco. Okay, Google those 2 things, and you'll see what I'm talking about. One's finesse more so than one's a bruiser. Nevertheless, I said no. But if it would have been one of those things, had he made it in, of course I'd have been yes. But it wasn't that way. And I feel as though, why do we do that? If the kid isn't hurt, if he isn't showing any sign of injuries, shape, form, or fashion, let him be the bruiser. We know that we all like AG. We do. We like AG. But the fact is, your bruiser is freaking Rob. Let him run that ball, man. And so I was pissed off. But then I said, all right, it's a turnover. Hold him here. And then when I saw that kid go around the corner, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And so I got to tell you, I was talking cash trash, like I always do.
Shocker.
But for the people who sat around me, I said, listen, I got to get my cheering out now before the second half, because the second half is normally when the team squanders what's going on. And so they laughed at that. And so sure enough, everyone's telling me, they were saying, hey man, you were right. You're quiet now. And I said, I told you I had to get it out. I said the second quarter, I got to get my cheering out, and I'll talk cash or trash with the best of them. But after that, I'll be quiet. And sure enough, that's how it was, bro.
If anybody had Ray McLeod in there for a 71-yard touchdown, you're lying. I mean, he had 1 carry on the day for 71 yards. You know, it's just the defense was banged up. When they said Cam Curl wasn't playing and he was inactive, I felt like that came out of nowhere. You know, we look at all the injury reports. I don't remember seeing Cam on there. I'm going back and looking at our notes. And then all of a sudden, Cam's inactive game day. It's like, okay, that's a huge freaking miss. I mean, losing him was gigantic. I mean, that opened up the middle for George Kittle. And I feel like the defense forgot that Kittle was on the team. I think that they got mixed up and thought that Debo and Kittle were out. And in actuality, no, Kittle just torched us. It was frustrating all around, but we were in a heavyweight fight. We're exchanging blows with the guys. We're going back and forth with them. Heineke had a nice bomb to Jahan. Jahan missed one. Then he hit Terry on another. I mean, we were going back and forth. We were keeping him out of the end zone. We were holding him to field goals. But the play that pisses me off, that I can't get past, and this is why I'm saying Ron Rivera is a dinosaur. And he is trying to appease people at times. The 4th and 1 on the 35-yard line in our own territory. To go for that ball at that point after they measured and to call a quarterback sneak with Heineke. It just – do you play poker or have you ever played poker?
No. Spades, but not poker.
There's a term in poker where you get another player on tilt. You get them so annoyed, so agitated that they make an illogical move. And they go all in or they just do something completely stupid. They bluff with absolutely nothing. When Rivera saw how close the mark was with those chains, he was on tilt. And he just said, screw it. And he just put Heineke and the guys out there. And you have what? Heineke isn't 6 foot, running your quarterback sneak, where if you don't get it, they're already in field goal range. And you're already down at that point by 7, and you're going to go down by 2 scores. When we didn't get that 4th and 1, we immediately just put ourselves behind the 8 ball and made it an uphill battle that was already an uphill battle before the clock even started against the number 1 rush defense.
So one question for you then. All right, so obviously you didn't like that call. For our listeners and myself, what would you have rather happened? What call would you have wanted?
I would have rather punt the ball and play field position at that point because your defense was still doing well. It was still a 1-score game. So if you punt that ball, Tress is a starter in the Pro Bowl for a reason. He can pin them back, and you let your defense go back there, and then you let a rookie quarterback have to go on a long drive and beat you. That's what you do. You don't give a rookie quarterback with weapons like Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, give him a short field to operate. And we did exactly that. We gave him a short field to operate because we didn't get it. The risk versus reward there was not good enough for me because, you get the 4th and 1, then what? It's 1st and 10 at the 36. What are you supposed to do at that point? You still have a long way to go. So it didn't make sense. It reminded me of a teenager playing Madden. That's what it was. It was a play call like that. And it boggled my mind that a man as senior as Rivera made such a boneheaded call like that at that point in the game because it was still a 1-score game and your defense was still putting up a fight. So to immediately do that, I think that's what honestly cost us the momentum, if we even had any, and gave all of it to the 49ers. And after that, Kittle, touchdown. McCaffrey, scramble. And then Heineke, benched.
Well, going back to that play, there's a part of me that wants to disagree with you, but agree with you on one. And what I mean by that is I want to disagree with you. I think that they should have gone for it. And the reason why I feel that they went for it was because of the comment that you made in the previous segment when you said,
I need Riverboat Ron to be Riverboat Ron. Yeah.
But no. The defense was hampered. So you know that you got a hampered defense, and you got to try to do something to help them out. So if we make it, it's going to be like, once again, yay, but we didn't make it, so boo. So I understand what you're saying, but we needed something. But I feel the play calling could have been a little better. That's what I feel. And
the play calling was bad.
Yeah, that's my only problem. I think that in that situation, you do something different. And I keep saying this, and I know they will never do it. And I know and I'm dating myself again. But God dang it, man! How many times have we seen another team put a freaking beast of a lineman back in a fullback position and just run it, and that other running back run behind that fullback and clears the hole to get that 1 yard? I say it all the time, and one of these times they're going to listen and they're going to put and I'm going to just use Jonathan Allen. They're not going to put Jonathan Allen, but I'm just going to use him as his name because he's a big boy household name. They're going to put a Jonathan Allen type at a fullback and just let him, whoever, run straight ahead, and you just hit that guy, and the fullback plays off of it, Oklahoma drill, and runs right through the hole, man, and gets the first down. I hope to see that at least one day.
It's just, we used to go jumbo, go tackle eligible, bring in another guy. And yes, we're short of the offensive line, but I get your point. It's just none of it was thought out. If you're going to go for that at that point, you're not catching them off guard. The referee is not going to let you snap the ball until the defense is ready. That's just their job. So give yourself a chance to be in your best possible player personnel group and position. If you're going to give it to Heineke and call Heineke's number, then call it on a bootleg. Don't call it on a quarterback sneak where this man is going to get pummeled. Or put Brian Robinson in. Or go duo. Bring in a couple tight ends. Bring in an extra lineman. Something like that to give you a better shot. Don't do what you did. And if you go back and think about it, because the defense was hampered, now you're giving the defense a shorter field to play with because you just gave them the ball on your own 35-yard line. So now your margin for error is a lot less than if you had punted the ball and got them inside their own 20. So there's just,
I hear you.
I hear you. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. You want to be aggressive, especially going against a team that is that heavy a favorite. But for me, it's about situational awareness. It's about situational football. You talk about knowing down and distance, and it's also about knowing where you are in the moment of the game. And in the moment, at that point in time in the game, we didn't need to get desperate. We didn't need to go all out and do that. And that's what was so frustrating for me. The other part is Scott Turner, in the first half, they were doing a good job of chipping Nick Bosa. You would have a tight end on him and then chip him. Then they started moving Bosa around. Turner just completely forgot about him. How do you forget about the defensive player of the year? Bosa's going to win.
Yeah.
He's got 18.5 sacks. And how do you not keep a running back in to chip? How many times did they go empty and Bosa just keyed on Cornelius Lucas or John Leno, or what the hell? You know who I'm talking about. And then just beat him like a drum. It was just, they didn't do Heineke any favors at all, man. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they set him up to fail.
One of the guys who I was sitting next to was a huge San Francisco fan, and he goes, "I still can't believe you guys are trying to run the ball, man. You guys need to do some doggone quick screens. You need to do quick screens, or you need to get the ball out of his hand faster because you're setting you guys up for failure." And I said, "Well, here's the deal." And I said, "Well, that I hear what you're saying, but you have to understand that he got just screwed over and from last week for not running the ball enough. So it's almost like he's trying to make up for what he did wrong last week and prove to everybody, see, I can, in all actuality, stick to the run." So, and the guy's like, "No, man, I know I'm not a fan, and I understand that, but our defense is just too strong to be able to do that. You've got to be able to throw some quick screens." And then what do you know? Carson comes in and we throw some quick screens, and the guy's like, "See, what did I tell you?" And they work. And the guy's like, "What did I tell you? You've got to be able to throw quick screens." And I was like, interesting. It goes back to what you said as far as, were they setting Taylor up to fail?
And I don't think that was particularly a change in play calling. I think that was Carson watching the first half, seeing Taylor just get pummeled, realizing that I can't take these hits he's going to take. I've got to do two steps and out. Even if the play calls for a 4 or 5 step drop, I can't put myself in that situation. And that's what has me, I guess, excited about this Browns game, because Rivera is not committing to a quarterback yet. And for those wondering, it's Tuesday the 27th at 1:40. He's meeting with the press as we speak. Rivera did say he's going to make a conclusion on who's going to start early in the week. So we should find out today. I think we're going to find out tomorrow, because the guys aren't actually doing anything today. They're not actually practicing or installing anything. But Rivera did say he wants to give the starter a majority of the snaps. That way he can prepare for the Browns. But seeing what Carson did and what he was able to do on that touchdown drive, He recognized where the blitz was coming from. He got rid of the ball. He recognized the overload on a couple of times on Charles Leno, got rid of the ball. He recognized a couple zone blitzes and got rid of the ball. He went through his progressions that would be difficult for a typical quarterback to do that's been out for 7 weeks, that's been sitting on the sidelines just getting mental reps. But Carson had that beautiful touch pass to Curtis Samuel just right over his back shoulder. I mean, that thing just dropped right in there. So a lot of fans are upset because they want to see Heineke in. I'm sorry, stop rooting with your heart and start thinking with your head. This offense has put up 52 points total in 3 games. We're 0-2-1 in the past 3 weeks. This offense did nothing with Heineke in there, and we have a chance to actually potentially do something with Carson. And is Carson a statue? Yes, he is. He doesn't have the legs Taylor does, but you saw him zip those balls in there. And they're saying a lot of the reason why Rivera and Scott Turner want Carson in is because our red zone percentage is garbage with Taylor in there because Taylor can't make the tight window throws. You were listening to the fan. JP was saying when Carson throws that ball, you can hear the ball spin. It's so fast. You ever have that Nerf football that had that little whistle inside? So when you chuck that thing down the air, that's what it sounds like when Carson throws it, but there's no whistle. That's just his rocket arm. And that's what we need to potentially take advantage of this offense. And Albert Breer, for those that don't know, is an NFL analyst, national analyst, saying that the Commanders are a sneaky play for a quarterback that wants to go someplace with weapons. Because we got him, man. Jahan, if he didn't miss all those weeks with his hamstring, will probably be Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. The kid just catches bombs and touchdowns left and right. Terry had another beautiful touchdown catch. Curtis, on top of that. I mean, if we actually had a decent QB, or not even if we actually had an offensive line that could block, we wouldn't be.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I know the quarterback touches the ball every time, but his surrounding cast helps him. So that's what we need, and we can't sleep on that. I mean, we just can't.
Well, they set themselves up for failure when you bring in Trey Turner and Andrew Norwell, and you let Brandon Sheriff go, and you've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum as your backups. You know, the offensive line, we talked, you've got to play a perfect game. The offensive line was responsible for 3 penalties, setting us behind the chains again. And I don't know if it was just me, but it was 2nd and 18 inside our 10-yard line. And I was getting flashbacks of Thibodeau strip sacking Heineke and getting a touchdown. I was just thinking Bosa was going to do it at that point. I mean,
didn't we have, and I know we did, but wasn't there like a 3rd and 1 and then somebody jumped and then it was goal line, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
We were in the red zone and we were close and we just knocked ourselves back. I mean, the offensive line was just shooting us in the foot. Again, it was 3rd and 1 and it was a false start on Trey Turner. I made sure to take a look at my little book here. Yeah. And it's just, those mental mistakes. And the guard, for those that don't know, when you're at an away game and it's noisy, your guard taps your center on the ass, basically saying, okay, start your silent count now. Let's go. Well, he's doing it, and the ball's right in front of you, and you're still jumping off sides? I mean, it's just – we shot ourselves in the foot. We didn't do ourselves any favors. We had to play a perfect game on top of the fact that you lost your best safety before the game even started. So it was just a frustrating thing to watch all around. On top of that, selfishly, I lost my parlay because they sat Heineke down. I needed him to have 25 more yards. So I would have had a commisery stake at that point. I did hit one of my bets. I had a Jahan Dotson touchdown and a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. I think 5 paid me 100. So I was happy on that one, but I would have been happier if I hit both of them. But one thing that did make me smile and made me happy was seeing Chase Young back.
Yes. And because of that, I think he now feels a lot better about himself, more so than he ever has. Yeah, more so than he ever has. I think he feels a lot better about himself. I told you, I'm a body language person, and a lot of the things that I would see from Chase, Chase is always going to give you great body language, but I saw a different type of body language from him this go around. His demeanor was a little different from what I could see.
It was, man. And the post game show, Chase was at the podium and basically saying he can't wait. Bring on the Browns. You know, he's eager, he's excited. And there was one play where he and Trent Williams were talking trash to each other, or maybe more so Chase was talking trash to Trent because it was a screen, and Trent let Chase go at that point to get downfield and block. Chase immediately recognized that it was a screen and bumped McCaffrey and took McCaffrey out the play to the point of Purdy had to just get rid of the ball and dump it off, and I think it was just incomplete. But those are his natural instincts that are coming back, and he played 58% of the defensive snaps. He was in for 30, and they talked about him being on a pitch count, 10 to 15. This is why I think it was mental, because if you're supposed to be on a pitch count 10 to 15 and you're playing 30 snaps and all signs are saying that he was perfectly fine the next day, didn't have to worry about getting treatment, this is why I think it was in his head, man. This is why I felt over the past couple of weeks when you and I have been arguing about it, he just needed to get on the field, because once he took that first hit and then once he laid that first hit, he's feeling home. And it happened, man. He got, the one pass defense. He had a tackle. I mean, he didn't look like a Chase of old, but we know what's there and the potential behind it. And damn, man, we could have used his ass against Daniel Jones 2 weeks ago. We really could have. But hindsight, we got to move on. The Giants is in the past. The Niners is in the past. The crazy thing is we still control our own destiny. We still have a chance, man.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
It really is. And I think I was looking at a tweet by Nikki Javala. Nikki said that we can clinch a playoff berth if we beat the Browns and the Niners lose. Not the Niners, sorry. The Packers lose. And let me just pull this up exactly. So the Packers have to lose, Detroit has to lose, and Seattle has to lose, and we clinch a playoff berth. So I don't know if those numbers are exactly correct, because I thought we had to win out to get in, but hopefully I'll clear this up on the YouTube and put that up there. The good news is if we can handle what we need to handle against the Browns, and we'll talk about that on our preview show, we're talking week, 18, Dallas at home to get in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't think it gets any better than that, man.
Yeah, man. And I don't care who they sit, rest, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It's going to be a Dallas, Washington playoff environment. It is. And it's going to be for the marbles. Yeah, it's going to be for our marbles, not theirs, but for our marbles.
And, they're talking about Dallas sitting people. I think it depends on how Dallas does this Thursday, if they have to play in that game or not. So, okay, hey, Dallas sits some people? I don't care. It's a division game. They beat us with Cooper Rush earlier on in the year. Yeah. People kind of forget that. Cooper was no joke, and they would love if they could be the one to put that nail in our coffin and not get us in the postseason. Not trying to jump ahead, but each and every game coming up means something. And, fingers crossed, you and the missus get back from Denver safely and in time for kickoff on New Year's Day, because I'm going to be driving back from Florida here on Friday. Got to get the tailgate ready on Saturday, and I cannot wait to get back to FedEx Field and see you and all of our Burgundy Gold brothers and sisters out there.
Oh, definitely, man. I can't wait. And I'm looking forward to it. My like you said, first things first, got to crawl before I walk. I've got to get back, which I'm working on that. And I'll feel a lot better when that happens, bro. Everything else right now is water under the bridge. Just get back to the DMV safe.
Amen, man. Amen. And who would you give your rally chain to, just to wrap this one up?
Oh man, who would I give it to? I'm gonna give it to Chase for making a comeback, and showing that he still has it and quieting the naysayers, but even myself.
No, that's actually, if you weren't going to take Chase, I was. So that's a good one. For me, it's got to go to the Rook, Jahan. What the kid is doing out there on those routes, the way he adjusts for the ball, it reminds me of Deshaun Jackson. And the way he's able to track that ball in the air and then readjust at a split second and just bring that entire thing in. And he's stepping up, and I did not like a draft pick when we made it. I was standing right next to Mrs. Snyder when it happened, and I had a fake smile on my face. I've got the biggest smile now every time I see him on Burgundy and Gold, man, because that kid is a talent, and the more reps he gets, league better watch out, because we got 17-1 lining up beside each other for at least 4 years together.
Look out.
They're going to be a duo to worry about, big time.
Yep. Look out.
But, dude, I appreciate you making the time, especially considering the situation you and the missus are in, dialing in from the hotel room. And, you know, we'll talk about the preview show, but you get your ass home safely, man.
Yeah, man, thank you. And you get back as well, and wish the missus as well for me. And thank you to everyone who asked about us. The show must go on, and Tailgate Ted and the Captain are going to do just that. We're going to give you our best for under the circumstances that we're in. So we'll see you guys on one day later this week for our preview show. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Once again, like, share, subscribe. It goes a long way with us. And shout out to Woodbridge Collectibles. You guys are still awesome. And hopefully you got everything you wanted for Christmas. And I'll talk to you guys later. And rep it hard or don't rep it at all. Tailgate Ted, Rally Captain. We're going to be out.